Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the guide series with Registeel. Registeel has been popping up a lot recently at tournaments, getting a lot of top cut placements, and doing pretty well overall. Doing very well for a Reggie that is not Regilucky, because Regilucky is really the only Reggie that is getting a lot of play currently, but Registeel is definitely, getting there a little bit more now recently. It's a pretty good Pokemon overall with incredibly high defense and special defense, and actually a pretty good moveset that supports that, having things like Iron Defense and Amnesia, as well as Body Press to actually do a pretty good chunk of damage consistently. It's very, very solid, and putting a Leftovers or even Assault Vest on this Pokemon just makes it an absolute tank overall. It's a very good time playing this team, a Registeel team, because you just sit there and you watch your opponent struggle. Registeel does not care about your opponent. It just doesn't take much damage after a couple Iron Defense / Amnesias, or even a Pokemon like Lando next to it just hitting those max ground moves, max quakes, making it incredibly, incredibly bulky. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, Clear Body is insane. Actually, an incredibly good ability. Not being able to lower any of your stats by your opponent's moves, so things like Fake Tears can bite the dust. It doesn't even do anything against Registeel, which is pretty good. It also cannot be intimidated, which is cool. Doesn't really matter here, but is a great adaptation of Clear Body. What does adaptation mean there? I don't know. Is that even a word? Adaptation? I don't know. But Clear Body is good nonetheless. That's really what I'm trying to say, is that Clear Body's good. Steel is a pretty cool typing. Mono Steel is very solid. You do, of course, you have your 3 weaknesses of firefighting and ground, but you have 10 resistances and 1 immunity of poison, so that is very good. It's very safe to switch this into a lot of Pokemon, a lot of physical and special attacking Pokemon that have those resistances, or even poison. Your opponent's going for a max sludge, max ooze with their Venusaur. Ha! Registeel does not care. It won't like the Quake, but still, it won't care. So that's pretty good. If say you even have Trick Room set up, and you switch in, and then boom, and then your Amnesia, and then their Quake doesn't even do anything. Boom, instant out to the Venusaur, easy peasy. Anyway, Steel is a very solid Pokemon, or Steel is a very solid typing overall, is really what I'm saying. Anyway, let's look at these stats before we move on to the build itself. So, of course, the defense and special defense are its big stats, both at 150 base, which is incredibly strong. 80 HP leaves a little bit left to be desired, but it's okay. With investment and Leftovers, we're not taking too much damage, especially after that Iron Defense or Amnesias. Pretty good. Special attack and attack does not matter on the VGC build, but on the singles build it will matter. They're pretty low, but it is what it is. Speed at 50 is also pretty low, but it is what it is. We'll talk about that more at the speed tiers part of the video, section of the video, but it's not very good. 50 speed sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, that is it for the overall guide. Let's go ahead and talk about the moveset that I have prepared. So, item Leftovers, we're not going to be straying from this, I don't think anybody really is in VGC. Like I said, you could go like Assault Vest or something, but it just is not the same. You don't really want to go for that on this build. This is really a tank build that just sits here and lasts forever, so why would we want to, put on Assault Vest when we can have a little bit of healing? Makes a lot of sense. Clear Body ability is not being changed. Lightweight, nobody's going to use that. It's going to be Clear Body. No changing there. Moves, Iron Defense, Body Press, Amnesia, and Protect. The main name of the game for Registeel is going to be Iron Defense, Body Press. Iron Defense getting your defense built up so that you can use Body Press for a lot of damage while not taking a lot of damage. It makes a lot of sense. It's pretty good. Amnesia is the secondary thing as well. Being able to raise that special defense is obviously very good. Now, you could switch this out for Sand Tomb if you wanted to, but I really would not stray from these 4 moves. And of course, Protect also gives us a little bit better Leftovers healing, but it's also just good because it's Protect. It makes sense. Iron Defense, Body Press, Amnesia, Protect. It's very standard. You're not going to be seeing this being changed very frequently, but like I said, Sand Tomb is a pretty cool ability, attack, so that's an option. But I wouldn't stray from any ability or item changes for sure. As far as the EV spread goes, it's not incredibly creative. It is a little bit different from a 252-252-4 split, but, it's not too insane. This is pretty popular spread. 252 into HP because of Leftovers, and we can't really, raise that HP in battle, so just max it out. Makes a lot of sense. Since we can, raise our defense and special defense with Iron Defense and Amnesia, we are going to go ahead and split those in there. We're not going to invest in attack or speed or anything. It just doesn't make sense for this build, so a little split in defenses makes a lot of sense. We'll talk about this a little bit more in the damage calc portion, but yeah, it's pretty normal. I mean, after an Iron Defense or Amnesia or Reflect screens, light screen, anything like that, you're not going to be taking much damage, so yeah, just a little split in defense and special defense. Anyway, that's it for the guide. Actually, that's really it for the moveset and stuff. It's not too crazy. There's not really any differentials that you're going to, not really anything you're going to change. So, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about these synergetic Pokemon before we move on. First off, it just makes sense. Grimmsnarl. Registeel loves to be behind screens, man. It's taking 0 damage already. Why not make it actually 0 damage? After an Iron Defense and a Reflect, you're taking so little damage even from super effective physical moves, things like Lando, T. What's that damage? Huh? You're doing 25% damage as a Dynamax Pokemon with Life Orb? Okay, cool. Go away then, nerd. Putting this Pokemon behind screens is absolutely stupid. It's insane. And then you have Pokemon like Lando, T, that is an amazing Pokemon. First off, it has Intimidate, which is great for your Registeel. It also, has a huge weakness of Ice, which Registeel just obliterates with its Iron Defense Body Press. So that's very good. Taking out these big Pokemon like Glastrier that Lando's afraid of is easy peasy, easy pickings for Registeel. So that's really good. Lando also covers Registeel's weaknesses pretty well, being able to kill those fighting Pokemon, being able to destroy those fire Pokemon, and even being able to destroy, what's its last weakness? Why can I not think of it? Ground Pokemon. You can't really do anything against ground Pokemon with this Pokemon, but it's okay. It covers really well. Registeel and Lando cover each other really well, and that's definitely the Pokemon that I would sit next to it for a big Dynamax attack. The other Pokemon that could be an alternative attacker if, you don't want to go physical this attack, something like that, is Moltres Galar, actually. It's an incredibly good partner. Once again, it has that, flying, so it's not weak to those ground-type Pokemon, so things like Earthquake are only hitting the Registeel, not hitting the Moltres Galar. Just a good little synergy there. But Moltres Galar also destroys these fighting Pokemon and stuff that Registeel is kind of afraid of, and it just does really good damage overall. It's just good. It's just a good Pokemon, a good pair for Registeel. Also, those are kind of things that you'll see a lot on these teams that have been topping recently with Registeel. They're going to be like Registeel, Grimmsnarl, Moltres Galar, and Lando as the core, and if I was making a Registeel team right now, that would be my core 4. Makes sense. Let's move on. So, talking about some speed tiers, it's bad. It's not good at all. We're at 70. 50 base speed plus 20 because that's how IVs work. But Registeel, it's on the same speed tier as Sableye, which is not very good because, Sableye is only fast because of Prankster. So Registeel kind of sucks in that speed tiers regard. It will be slower than a lot of slow, good Pokemon, things like Tyranitar, Celesteela, Heatran, and obviously anything faster than 100 as it is only at 70 speed. Makes sense. As far as Trick Room stuff goes, things slower than it, things like Min Speed, Gothitelle, Clefairy, Amoonguss, Hatterene, everything down there, Torkoal, Dusclops, Amoonguss, all these Pokemon down here at the bottom speeds are going to be faster than after Trick Room. Makes sense. Middle speed tier at 70, it sucks. There's nothing really good about this speed tier, honestly. There's just nothing really good about it. So, that's unfortunate. That's really the biggest weakness of Registeel, is its abysmal speed tier. That's unfortunate. Anyway, let's talk about some damage calcs. This is a place where this Pokemon shines a lot. It doesn't take a lot of damage, but it will be doing a good bit of damage with Body Press after 1 or 2 Iron Defenses. So, let's talk about it. The first one here is 252 plus Attack Life Orb Lando T. This is maxed, Dynamaxed Max Quake. Doing a lot of damage, but behind Reflect and Iron Defense, not doing too much damage. So plus 2 from Iron Defense, 252 HP, 156 plus Defense. Registeel through a Reflect is only hitting 36 to 42%. After another Iron Defense, taking even less damage. And after recovery from Leftovers, they only have a chance at 3-hit KO, albeit it's a very good chance, but you will get Leftovers recovery every turn, being those turns. So you'll probably get 3-hit, maybe 4-hit after, through a Reflect in Iron Defense. You really want to stall out some Dynamax turns, being able to protect one of those turns is very good as well. And if the Lando is just attacking into the, into your Registeel at full force for 3 turns, 2 of them being protected. It's probably going to end up being a very good matchup overall. Obviously there's a lot of other things that are happening in the game, but it's not bad. You're not taking too much damage. Next, we do have one problem. Something that I thought was going to be a problem ends up not being too big of a problem. 252 attack choice band Urshifu single strike Wicked Blow will always be hitting in a critical hit. That is what its signature move Wicked Blow does. So it gets through the iron defenses. It gets through Reflect, which just is insane. 252 HP, 156 plus Registeel on a critical hit is hitting 47 to 56. Now this is, once again, this is with the choice band. So, choice band on the Urshifu has really, really taken a dip in usage stats. Let's go ahead and look at this really quick. Urshifu single strike here. It will be using a choice band like 20% of the time. It's almost always going to be Focus Sash. So I wouldn't even really worry about this matchup too much, in my opinion. And of course, it does have close combat as well, doing a pretty good chunk. But yeah, after a couple of iron defenses and Reflect, you don't really care about what the Urshifu can do with close combat. So that's a really good thing. Next, we have 4 attack Incineroar, Flare Blitz, doing not that much damage into our Iron Defense Registeel. This is not even with Reflect. We just don't really care about it. 25 to 30% damage. That's P damage. It doesn't even have. It has barely even a chance to 4-hit KO after Leftovers, and that's only 1 Leftovers. So you don't really have to worry about the damage from Incineroar. So that's a really good thing as a Steel Pokemon. Next, we have +2 from the Iron Defense, hitting with Registeel Body Press into a 252 HP Glastrier. This is non-Dynamax, hitting a guaranteed 2-hit KO, but hitting an incredibly high amount of damage. If you can hit a switch from their Glastrier, like if you can read that they're going to switch, and then hit the body press into it, you're going to be neutralizing that threat, right? Like now it's not going to be wanting to Dynamax, and that's probably what your opponent wanted to Dynamax that game if they brought their Glastrier. So honestly, you're just in a really good position if you can catch that switch. Now, if you can't call out that switch, but they're still going for a late game Glacier or mid to late game, and you have 2 Iron Defenses up on the Registeel, first off, you're taking very minimal damage, even from their high horsepower Max Quake. You're not going to be taking too much damage because +4, especially if you're behind Reflect, it's really good damage, or really P damage. But if you do have your +4 from double Iron Defense, you're doing an insane amount of damage to Dynamax even if you didn't call out the switch. You're hitting 60 to 71%, which is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, but also just a huge amount of damage. So that is incredibly strong. So if you position correctly during the game, you should have an amazing matchup against Glastrier. So that should be really good. Next, and something that I'm sure most of you would just assume, after 2 Iron Defenses, we're killing Porygon 2. Easy peasy. 244 HP, 92 defense, random spread, I know, but also behind an Eviolite. We are hitting 107 to 127, which is a guaranteed OHKO. This is another great one to have if you can call out the switch. That's incredible. If it's not a min speed Porygon 2, we're just taking this out immediately, which is insane. If it already has Trick Room set up and is min speed or anything, it might be a little bit annoying to get around. We still should just take it out easy peasy with Body Press, and it has no tools to minimize damage on the Registeel and has no tools of like doing anything to the Registeel. So this is another really good matchup that we have. That's a very top tier Pokemon. So very incredibly, very, very good, very bulky, and does a lot of damage with Body Press after an Iron Defense or 2, is pretty much the sum up of this whole thing. Anyway, that's it for the damage calcs. Let's go ahead and talk about Single Spotlight real quick before I end the video, and we will be talking about it really quick because it's not that good, to be honest. It does have some cool tools with Assault Vest, Clear Body. You're doing a lot of damage with Body Press and Heavy Slam and even Earthquake, and Steel Roller is an amazing tool for dealing with these Pokemon like Rillaboom, Lele, Finny. You're dealing with Finny incredibly well with Steel Roller. So Registeel should have a good, does a good bit of damage, is incredibly bulky, but it's very slow, and it doesn't really have anything to capitalize in singles because it doesn't really want to do the Iron Defense Amnesia kind of things. You could do it, but without having a Pokemon next to it, it kind of sucks because your opponent's going to just be targeting down the Registeel. So unless you get into a perfect position, which you probably won't because they're going to be switching, into a better position every time, it's not that great in singles is what I'm saying, really. But if you want to do it, this is how I'd play it. Also, as far as the EV spreads, I went 252 into HP and defense and then leftover 4 into special defense just to, assist that Assault Vest out a little bit. Since we have Assault Vest, I wanted to just go all into defense. It makes sense and is very good for the Body Press as well. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. In sum up, I think Registeel is actually a really solid Pokemon. I'm not not gonna lie, I think it's really cool in VGC, and as you can see from a lot of recent events, it's actually been an incredibly good Pokemon. Who knew? Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Makes a really big difference. A lot of big stuff coming for the channel, so definitely make sure to do that. Have a good week. Goodbye.